area. And it was really interesting to understand because last year when I was a small firm exchange rep, I couldn't understand why we couldn't get mailing addresses, email addresses from the local small firms. And at least in AIA Colorado now, they're becoming a little bit more organized where we actually are able to have a web page that is set up for at least this business of architecture committee. And I think that there's one for the small firm exchange as well. I need to look at that again. But their idea is that they can get a broader distribution of people on the newsletter that points them to a specific website for small firm exchange, et cetera. So anyway, I just thought I'd put that in there. Maybe there's pressure that you can give to your states to create, a website for the small firm exchange if there isn't one.
That sounds great. I think the states all have different uh capabilities at this point, I'll say. So if your state has a higher capability of giving you a website, that would be amazing. The next piece here that are optional, obviously, you can give small firm presentations or sessions at your state and regional conferences. A lot of people have done that since I've been on the board, and that's been really great. So one of the things that's also been beneficial is you may find a connection with somebody elsewhere and be able to, on this group and be able to invite them to your state to co-present a topic that you both might be interested in. So that happened a few times last year, especially on some of the digital conferences or sessions that are offered. I know we had a lot of people co-collaborating to give those sessions. We will have meetups in Washington, D.C. in AIA 24. Obviously, you are not required to attend them and meet us all in person, but we highly recommend it. It's a really nice way to make connections with people that you see in a corner. Oh, see, this is me rushing. I career content to add to national SFX distribution. So if there is a topic, so when we get into the calendar, if there's a topic that you are very passionate about and you are interested in being involved in creating some sort of output on that topic. So it could be like, hey, I know somebody who's an expert in this. I'd like to do an interview. And we can get that on the SFX social media, get it linked to a newsletter, things like that. Like, you are welcome always to reach out if you have a special interest in any of these topics. It is not required that you do so. We are not requiring state reps joining work groups this year, but if you are interested in something, you are welcome to reach out and get involved. So I kind of went over this a little bit. The past SFX has changed. We don't need to get into this so much anymore, but the whole organization of it has changed, where we are now a state rep structure. That feels a little bit like the old guard has moved on, and we don't need to talk about that anymore. But in case anybody ever mentions regional representatives, that was a thing. We are no longer doing it. From 2021 on, and I apologize, a lot of these slides I cut and paste. This one is intense on my computer screen in terms of font size. But the goal has been essentially trying to create a sustainable framework of communication. So that was a goal for the past couple of years. A lot of the issues of the SFX is that, and as we just discussed, a lot of us, the group has had a problem accessing information that the AIA holds. So that continues to be a challenge, but one that we will continue to get through. And we'll get into this a little bit more later, but AIA is trying really hard in the next couple of years to stop siloing their information. Knowledge Net is going to be used more. That is, they are investing in that more, and there will be some trainings available. We will be trying to bring the SFX focus to that as a central space. And they are really pushing that. If any of you attended a volunteer orientation for the AIA, either last year or the beginning of this year, you would have heard about this. And we're the only way that that's successful is if we use it. So that's going to be the goal there. So now let's talk about this year. So this year's topic is going to be on practice. And our all call topics right now are listed here. All topic titles are subject to greater inspiration. I'm trying to be witty. I am open to feedback, but I'm going to quickly give you all a summary of what we're going to be doing this year. So our first all call topic next month is going to be on how AI can be used as a generative tool in early design processes. And we have two gentlemen joining us from New Jersey, and I had the pleasure of actually attending their a version of their talk last night, and it was really practical. I've gone to some other AI talks. I think I went to one put on by the DC group here, and it was way over my head. I mean, I wrote down a few things that I've carried with me, but the scale of what they were doing was just a lot bigger than things that I do as a small firm practice. So these two guys are from small firms, and that's going to be really exciting. Second topic is starting a small firm. Now, this one is going to be output focused for our states. We want to give people the resources. There might be somebody sitting in a mid-sized firm, you know, in Cincinnati, like pulling their hair out, like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I thought architecture was supposed to be X, Y, and Z. And they get their, you know, AIA, you know, newsletter, and they see in there, like, we come up with some captivating title that they click, like, how do they start their own thing? How do they leave the grind of the kind of mid-sized large firm machine, right? And find maybe that passion in architecture again. That's my dream for that this month. Firm development, work and practice. This to me is like a little bit of like, what do you wish you know? The question that that we all answered, like, what do you want to work on in your practice, will play into this month here. Business school is going to be a collaboration with YAF, Young Architects Forum. And we're going to go to business school for a session. It's going to be great. Then we've got AIA 24. We haven't decided on an all-call topic necessarily. We'll see kind of how the topics of AIA 24 shape that, but we'll discuss something relative to the conference. We'll then do small firm typologies, all the different ways you can be a small firm, all the different ways it can look, and we'll probably just scratch the surface of that. Grassroots connections, we're going to have a high-level leader from the AIA come, and we're going to directly have FaceTime with them. They will lay out current strategic planning initiatives, and we'll be able to give them feedback. Tending the garden is my optimist's way of describing the phrase we often hear, which is getting out of the weeds. So we're going to talk about some of the topics that really weigh us down and make our jobs inefficient. We will then, in this one, I'll get to our topics. This is the one I'm hoping to have. I'm trying to get the guy, Eric, from the 30 by 40 workshop to come and speak to us. Oh, wait, no, sorry. He was firm development. This one is going to be Charette Venture Group, which is a consulting group that helps small firms manage their businesses. Managing risk is going to be focused on administration of construction contract risk in particular. And we are going to have representatives from the knowledge group in the AIA come that month. Telling your story is going to be simultaneously about legacy, about like what we want to leave, and as well as about awards and how you essentially show your work outside of the built product, right? And then reflections, we're going to do some discussion about retirement planning there, as well as talking a bit about advocacy and what groups may be worth highlighting in terms of work that they're doing on national or local levels. So that is the year. It's all 12 months we will be meeting, but we will only have one all call a month. So last year we had skipped a few months, but my hope is that this is interesting to you as a year, and will hopefully give us all something to take back to the small firms in our area. So any questions on this? I haven't been looking at the chat. Let's see. So feel free to unmute if you have any questions, or if you want me to expand on any of those. There's also a more robust calendar in the link.
Danny, can you just show it one more time?
Yeah, and in fact, I'll show my more robust calendar since I didn't show that yet. So this will be sent out to all of you as a PDF if you're somebody who likes printing. And let me make it a little bigger. I saw a few people leaning in, so I always know that that means it's small. Yes, Matthew, that was you, I saw. So yeah, and this will actually show you who we're hoping to get as presenters and who we don't have yet presenters for. If some of them are intentionally not going to have presenters, they will be more board-led discussions, more us just talking to each other. So Bill Martin and Brian Penshaw next month, either 30 by 40 workshop or AIA Trust in March, firm development. This, we will be talking about the 2030 challenge in work and practice. Business school with YAF, then the conference, small firm typologies, the board, the representation we have on the board is going to discuss that. AIA leadership, I've had initial conversations with Evelyn Lee about attending, so I'm hoping to get her attending the Garden, Shred Venture Group, managing risks with CCA, knowledge community. And then these last two will be more discussion based for us. It'll be the end of the year. And what we learned from last year is it's actually hard to nail down speakers for November and December. So we're just not going to plan it. Any questions, any ideas, anything you're like, you're totally missing this in terms of practice? Now's the time.
Were you there on the presentation last night we had for our New Jersey Small Firm Exchange?
I was.
Yeah, there was a great turnaround. Like 115 people signed up and saw the presentation.
Yep, I joined it because one of the things we do is we meet with the presenters prior to like talk about what our goals are. And so I was able to meet with Bill and Brian last week with Joshua, and I was really impressed by them. And I wanted to make sure that what they were presenting was stuff we could walk away with. And 100%. I mean, to the point where like Bill was like showing his phone on the Zooming, like, see, look at how easy this is. I mean, it was when we say like practical things that we can be walking away with, that I think is going to be a really exciting all call. And they're really compelling people. So that was it's also good. So yes, I was there and I highly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good. I think they're also looking for feedback from last night so that they can add to that and improve it and make it more better. They're also thinking of doing the second presentation, which is a little bit more advanced in that. So let's see.
Dana, real
yeah, Brown.
we I know there's a full agenda and maybe there's a way to tuck it in, but one of the things that I was thinking about and we talked about a little bit today was the challenge of construction administration for small firms. And so was wondering, is that in with managing risk?
Yes, but if you have specific, this is October, so we have some time, but if there are specific things that you want the CCA Knowledge Committee, we have not talked yet with them how
Right.
to facilitate the conversation. We can 100% feed them the questions we really want to dive into.
I can volunteer to help that forward then. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. And I have met them in the past. They are good people. Most of them work at larger firms now, and they
Right.
specialize in kind of liability and risk management for their firms. But I would say of the 5 who are there, 3 of them have worked a long time at small firms as well. And so those are the ones who I'm hoping to come, even though they're working at larger firms now where their job is like managing risk. Like that's what their jobs are at these larger firms. They have small firm experience and they had a lot of like reflection on how they could be applying what they're doing now to their times at small firms, which I felt was really helpful. Yes, Devin.
Yeah, Dana, we don't have to talk about it right now, but there is kind of an urgent issue that I wanted to talk with you and Kathleen about, if you wouldn't mind staying on.
Sure.
It's about AIA's relationship to NAB and what's kind of going on in that arena right now. And I just want to make sure that I have a chance to talk to you about it.
Awesome. Yes. And I should also say you all are welcome to email thoughts and ideas to myself, Kathleen. If you've got Janet's email easy, she can always forward on, or Jeremiah. All right, Jared.
Hey, Dana. So one thing that I've kind of been thinking about for the past 2-3 years, which has spurred me to get involved with this group, is the representation of small firms at the state chapter awards. And I'm in AIA Kansas, and it feels as though that small firms are always getting overlooked. There's all these, large firms that have projects that are university projects, huge program, which the juries always love program, and also huge budgets, but it always feels like the smaller firms get lost in those, in those award ceremonies. So it's almost kind of like we're working with other architects who aren't willing to promote other architects and smaller architecture firms. How do we work as an organization to help promote larger firms within our own, I guess, profession?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, Jared, because in Maine we have the opposite. It's the small firms that are winning all the awards, and the large firms are sometimes hesitant to enter because of what, basically there's a lot of smaller firms doing the higher design work that's winning more of the awards. There are some larger firms that are winning, but that's been growing. So I'm on the state awards committee. I think it would be a great topic, but I'm also happy to chat more with you about it if you'd like.
Okay.
This was a big topic last year as well. And I know Bart had who's on this call now, has had a lot of success. And I know tangentially has mentored my mindset in this a bit. So we don't really have a specific topic for June. And so I'm going to add this in for June, because also in relationship to the national conference, we will be seeing a lot of that output, and it'll be primarily from large firms, program driven, even in like tours we're going on. So I think that fits in really nicely there. And so the homework assignment for then, and feel free to email about this until then, is where we all get stuck is like, how do we advocate for this? And it feels like it's highly personal to the people who are sitting on juries, and it gets very like overwhelming, I think, for a singular person and a singular entity like yourself, Jared, to be like, how do I fix this, right? I know Josh has a lot of opinions on this too, but I think it's worth discussing, and my goal would be that we get some tangible like action items from it. Like, what can we actually do? So I think that's a great idea. Josh.
I was just gonna say, Jared, if you want to reach out, we can talk about it. You know, I've been the co-chair on the design awards committee in New Jersey for, I guess, 10, 12 years now. And, you know, we've altered our awards program upside down and backwards. We've gotten small firm jurors on the awards. We've done all sorts of different things. And remarkably, the same 3 firms win every year. And you know, so we're scratching our heads. We're at the point where we're thinking of actually making, you know, small firm specific awards so that,
Interesting.
you know, it eliminates the competition from the large firms. But when you're comparing, you know, sort of disparate projects, the ones that seem to be winning are still, even like we have a very large firm here in the state, and they did like a pro bono kind of exercise and did this very small sort of vignette kind of project, and the people who were the jurors were like, it's great to see a small firm, a small project get you know, do some great work, and it ended up being a large firm. You know, it was this large firm that did this tiny little project. So who knows?
So the other thing I want to really say, so Joshua just offered that. Please reach out to people, make the connections in this group. This is you are dedicating and volunteering your time to this. Do not hesitate to take up the resources that are being offered. That is how you can make the most out of this experience as a state representative. Obviously, the mission statement is all this like, disseminate, inform, We are also human beings in service to this time. So please get something out of it. So that has been the #1 benefit of this group for me, is the connections I've made, the resources that I've gained from other people. So please don't hesitate. Just know if you've joined this group and you are offering it publicly, that is an open invitation. So
just to
Can I say
clarify,
one quick thing about this? That's where on the subject.
Sure.
And I was a juror for New Jersey, so sorry, Josh. I did the best I could. You know, I mean, how do you know what's small firm, what's not? But I just want to point out, like, something we could advocate for is at the national level that there be a category. I mean, there's small project awards, but nothing, and this similar thing happens there.
Right.
But why can't there be a small firm category? One of the first biggest awards I ever received was from the Interior Design Association, which was an international award for small firms, and it was limited by firm size. And so at the national level, I don't know why we shouldn't be able to advocate for something like that as a starting point. And a lot of our awards programs in Texas locally, they're all modeled on national. It all ripples down. I think if you did that at a national level, it would really create a precedent for having awards that are dedicated to small firms.
awesome.
so Dana, sorry, one question. You
Right.
talked about making connections. To me, it sounds like there's enough of people here who are involved in their local chapters design awards that it might be worth having a subgroup, but I don't know how that works in terms of subgroups. Is that all right? Do we just meet on our own? You know, that's sort of logistics, I guess.
Yeah, so we will send out the roster with like maybe a area where you can put your interests.
Oh, good. Great.
And then that way, in case you're not writing down everybody's names, you can at least like pinpoint email addresses from there. And on that, please also note, Darwin just dropped in the chat a link. Please save it or open it now. It is
Hold
for
on. Don't go to that link, because that link will change the form. I'll send you a link where you complete the form.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you
sure.
editing the form?
So speaking of recognition, we will be featuring each of you on the SFX social media. Please share that out on your own social media. So, you know, it makes a connection. It's like a very small touch, but it also feels kind of nice to see your recognition even in that small way. So that's just one piece of housekeeping. The other piece of housekeeping is making sure that your contact information is correct. This is one thing. I made a small edit to my own contact information on the roster when I checked it last week. So take a double check on the state roster or on the SFX roster to make sure that your contact information is correct. It was probably my user error when I was filling out a form 2 years ago, but we do use it to get in touch with people. And if you want to put a cell phone number there, we did over AIA San Francisco. We made a chat or like a text chain of people who were like meeting up for different things and different events. So you're not required. You can always opt out of communication like that. We're not going to force you to communicate with everybody, but please make sure your contact information is correct. Kathleen, anything else housekeeping wise that you need from us?
Nope. If you have any questions about the FYs, let me know in the agenda.
Kathleen, if we're not on the roster yet, do we just email you with our information or add it to the roster that's in the agenda?
Well, I really hope that I added you, Jared. But Jared is our newest person, so I do try to add. What I don't have actually from all of the new folks that started is filling in some of those other categories. So I'll reach out to the new folks. That was sort of my TBD.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I will add you all of the places.
And I'm sorry I didn't end early. I tried, but it was good conversation. I hopefully, you know, this was interesting enough to keep you engaged and you'll look forward to the different topics. Please reach out if you have any thoughts, ideas, concerns. I really appreciate everybody speaking up today. It was great. And I'm really looking forward to the rest of the year with you all. So we'll end 2 minutes early.
So Dana and Kathleen, you can
Oh
stay.
yes, I can stay on. Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for organizing everything, Dana. That was great.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.